Okay.
Now,
Am
back
I
on
ready
you.
to go?
Yeah.
I want to backtrack a little bit because I forgot something important. In Berkeley, in 1956, when I started school, I acted upon something which had started at Hopkins. I had a friend in Hopkins who took me to church. There was the First Baptist Church was right across the street from Hopkins. Big, well-regarded church. And he was at that time a Baptist. And so he began taking me to church, and I liked church. And so I began as a young adult having a lifelong interest in religion, in Christianity, and also in my senior year in Hopkins, I had read a book which was very important to me. It's called Here I Stand by Roland Bainton, and it's a treatment of Martin Luther's life. And I decided that it would be a good idea for me to become a Lutheran uh, because I had decided that being a Baptist wasn't really what I wanted.
What about Luther's perspective or experience
Well,
appeal to you?
the thing that really caught my attention was the sacramental nature that's possible in Lutheranism. The combination of both word preaching and Bible study and the sacraments, baptism and Holy Communion. I felt then, as I do still, that the two are important. In the Baptist church, although there was communion, it was very infrequent. And in the Lutheran church, it was more frequent. It was more often. So when I got to Berkeley in the fall of '56, I sought out a Lutheran church. It was St. Michael's in Berkeley. And I took adult study and confirmation. I was confirmed a Lutheran. And so that began my life as being a Lutheran. And I think the thing that religion did for me and has continued to do for me is, of course, a community. I felt, you know, not part of, my family was distant. I couldn't tell anybody about my sexual orientation. And so I felt like the church was sort of a substitute for community, closeness, family, whatever. Besides being something I was very interested in, I think one of the major things in my life has been trying to, as a lot of people have, reconcile the scientific narrative with the religious narrative. And I think that I'm emphasizing the word narrative because I think in both cases you have a narrative that is told that is powerful in terms of making a reality, defining what the world is through language, through narrative. And the two narratives are very different because obviously science is evidence-based, observationally based. Uh, Religion is much more a matter of the experience that people have as they live their religion. And the two things are very separate kinds of experiences. And yet I had both of them. I wanted both of them in my life. And I didn't want to have, uh, you know, a watered down version of either. And so that's really what has animated my life a lot, is trying to make this connection between science and religion. And and it began really in Berkeley as a Lutheran in St. Michael's. And I have found over the years that the Lutheran Church is a good place for me. It's liturgical, it's sacramental, it's, the Bible is important. It's also more of a blue collar kind of denomination. I mean, all the same things you could say about Episcopalianism, sacramental and so on and so forth. But even then, as a college student, I felt that I wasn't Episcopal material.
It was too high end, you're saying?
Yeah, too high end. I was really a poor boy and knew it. And I really had no aspirations to become wealthy or to have a lot of money, although I like luxury very much. And I like the things that money can buy. And but anyway, so that was an important aspect of my life in Berkeley. And so I had St. Michael's in Berkeley. And then when I went to Denver, I found a very small church called Gloria Dei, which was very liturgical, very high in the sense of smells and bells, that sort of thing. And in retrospect, the pastor, of course, was a gay guy.
Of course? Why do you say it like
Of course,
that?
because oftentimes liturgical services are the province of gay people. I mean, it just sort of works out that way. You know, the vestments, the ceremonies, they're all attractive to the classic version of the gay person, which is, you know, flaming queens. And
Okay.
so this is where we end, or
We've got a
we
little bit more
continue
time.
on for a
Do you
while?
want to maybe continue, wrap up a little bit about your view on religion and science together?
Yeah,
so
well, I
as
mean,
a chapter?
that's an ongoing issue which I'll get to
Okay.
later. But basically, that's been an important aspect of my life, and still is, trying to find a way of talking about each in a way that doesn't do a disservice to either. And obviously, it's an important issue because I think people look for what William James calls more. I think it's a very important concept in the varieties of religious experience he talks about. Religion conveys more, and that's a very vague term because it is a vague term. It's hard to define exactly what it is that people are looking for in religion, but it's more than the nuts and bolts of everyday existence somehow. For some people, that's fine. For others, it isn't. And I'm one of the latter. And so anyway, I went to England.
Should we pause there, actually? That'd be a good place. We'll
I
pause
went to
there
England,
and
became a postdoctoral fellow, and then
next chapter.